Hello, hello, hello. Tamira Hamilton. I blog about the business of you. And just starting off my afternoon. Not that I haven't done anything all day today. I did all my personal development and things like that this morning. And went out and voted. Got my 30-minute brisk walk-in, even made it up a very steep hill without stopping. Very proud of myself for that. Very steep hill, not the biggest hill, but it was big enough. And like I said, it was on quite the incline. So did that. Very, very happy to have accomplished that. If you're watching live, can you just let me know that you can in fact hear me okay? Go ahead and get my belly blaster going. Have not had that yet today. Oh, what else is going on? What else is going on? Went to bed and woke up to some crazy stats. Y'all are really upset about people buying the blue check. Like, oh my God. You gotta remember, swallow, don't chew. Swallow, don't chew, okay? But yeah, y'all, I don't know. I think some of y'all might need to check your superiority complexes at the door. It's weird. You know, one minute we're talking empowerment, and there's a seat for you at my table, but apparently only if you have a blue check, and only if you got the blue check before the $14.99 a month subscription. Are we becoming that? Because that's kind of weird, y'all. I think some of y'all really need to take a look back, take a step back and listen at what you're saying and listen at how you sound. Because it's coming off very elitist. It's coming off very, I want to be better than everybody else. It's coming off that your wounded child is, in need of some healing. And I say that without judgment because my wounded child needs healing every day, but I'm aware and I'm cognizant and I correct myself. So let's talk about this for a minute, okay? So back in like 2014, word on the street was, especially with this software that I was using at the time, that Facebook was the largest people verified directory, right? So it was better than the Yellow Pages because in theory, on Facebook, per their terms of service, you are only supposed to be who you really are in real life. In fact, there was a time when and I think that's how the blue check came about because, for example, for a few reasons, but in particular, Rihanna, they kept shutting her account down because it wasn't her name, Robin Fenty. It was Rihanna or Bada Girl Riri, right? And so they had to figure all that out because, the people at Facebook are pretty one-dimensional. And I say that with love too. So this whole idea of verification is not new, as somebody pointed out in comments on my Facebook stat. It's not new. It's not new at all, okay? So it has been around a while. People have been paying for it, and they've been paying a lot more for it. So there seems to be a couple different camps. There are those who are of the mindset that either they want to be a celebrity or they know celebrities or whatever, that, people that they actually know and converse with on a regular basis aren't worthy enough of the blue check. And that is so weird to me. I don't know why, but it just doesn't sit well with me. Are y'all okay? It's just a blue check. I mean, some of the stats, like the way y'all propagandizing it and making it so personal, and I don't know. Like I said, yeah. I think we're really becoming kind of mean girl. You can't sit with us, kind of like you don't have the right. It's almost, I'm going to put it this way. The way some of y'all are acting, it's starting to give do you pass the brown paper bag test vibes. I'm going to just put it out there and you do what you want to with it. But as someone who lost an Instagram account that was monetized and cash flowed, and I would wake up to orders from customers all around the world, and it had 25,000 followers. And when I went to Instagram, I lost track how many times and never heard back from them, never got support. I will gladly pay the $14.99, okay? The only reason I haven't gone into verification yet is because Facebook historically sucks at implementation. We all know they suck at implementation. So I'm not really too keen on being in the first round. I'd kind of rather sit out the first round, let them figure out the kinks, because Facebook, and I get it, you go to market with a minimally viable product, and then you test it and you tweak it. You don't want to invest too much in it because, you got to make sure you're meeting the customer needs in that. But something as basic as not understanding that people might want to change their profile picture, a little weird to me. A little weird that they didn't figure that out and know that going, coming out of the gate. So I'm going to give it a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then I definitely will be getting the blue check. So if it bothers you, you might want to unfriend me because I'm definitely going for it, okay? So there's that. What else? What else? All right. Now, one thing that came up at dinner on Friday with my family, with my grandson, he asked his mom, why do you sound different when you're on the computer, when you're on the phone, when you're working, than when you're talking to us? So he's so smart. He's picking up on code switching. He's picking up on customer service voice. Another friend and colleague, I was actually messaging back and forth with her a little while ago, and we have been for a couple days, and she had some hesitancy in going live. And one of the things she mentioned was having a voice like a man. And y'all know I joke about it all the time. But it's interesting because something that, especially when I was in corporate America, other folks with the same skin tone or darker we would talk about was part of our code switch was not just the pronunciation and enunciation of words, but we would make our voices pitched a little higher. And you do that inflection on the end of a sentence so everything sounds like a question so you don't intimidate certain folks, right? But in addition to that is taking out some of the bass in your voice. And so to hear someone who is much more on the fair skin side of things with blue eyes say that, because I said, see, and you didn't sound like a man. And she's like, well, I used my telephone voice. And I'm not laughing at her. I'm just, oh, okay. You learn something new every day. It reminds me of when I started customizing foundations in 2013, when I thought that the only people who struggled finding the appropriate shade of foundation, again, was darker skinned folks like myself, when no, in fact, the two very extremes are very fair skinned, blue eyed, easily burn, and you're more onyx complected, very dark, are the two opposite ends of the spectrum, and they both are definitely underrepresented in makeup. And so it just reminded me of that, that you just never know what someone else is going through, and you can't just make an assumption, right? You can't make an assumption. So with that said, can we please stop? Please, please, please stop shaming people for getting the blue check mark, because it's not all about a popularity contest and clout. For some of us, like I said, it is about protecting our accounts in social media. And I saw a comment about whether or not Facebook, and of course I don't trust Facebook. Of course I don't trust Mark or Adam. I have a strong financial background. $14.99, basically what they've done is they've monetized customer support. Something we've all been saying we've needed, like the example that I gave of losing my account with 25,000 followers, that it took me like 8 years to build, right? And it was monetized and revenued, and I had customers from all over the world. But I'm smart, I built my email list, so there's that. But still, just the whole pain of it, right? And so, it's not just about the elitism and the celebrity of it. There are people who had the blue check that y'all might not even know about. I've seen people before this, with a few thousand followers who had the blue check because they were very known in their field, right? Think about the movie Hidden Figures, right? And they may not be all, before the movie, they may not have been all over, but they were very well known and respected in their respective industry. So it's not just about celebrity, it was about if you've been featured in trade magazines, if you've been featured in Forbes as well, Inc. and things like that, then yeah, you know what I'm saying? So can we just calm down, stop policing what people spend their money on? Y'all really going to the extreme. Oh, you're paying $14.99 for a blue check, but don't have health insurance, don't have life insurance. Maybe they need the blue check to keep their account and keep it monetized so they can buy that health insurance and that life insurance. We just doing the absolute most. And if it boils down to somebody, you think you're not getting sales because somebody decided to get the blue check, you got a whole other marketing strategy and plan and content plan strategy problem, and we need to talk ASAP. And the last thing I'm going to say about this is don't let anyone keep you from feeling that you are worthy of that blue check, whatever it is you feel you need in your life to be in alignment with your soul's purpose. Ooh. Don't let these people and the haters and the naysayers tell you what you can and shouldn't do and what you are worthy of and where you should be versus where you are not. How they see you and what they see you doing. As a darker skinned woman, I have heard it my entire life, and I just look at people like they're crazy. I don't even argue with them when they come at me with, oh, I could see you doing this, I could see you doing that. And trust me, I say it to people too. I do, so I don't think that everybody means me harm when they say it. I just say it to impress upon you that whatever vision it is that you hold, whatever it is you know and hold to be true, stick to that. Sometimes you gotta just turn the noise down and charge straight ahead. Because let me tell you, on April 12th, my brother's birthday, his birthday every year since he was born in the 80s, I ain't gonna say the exact year, put all this business out there, and I was born before him in the 70s, but April 12th, 2013, Haute Chocolat, my brand online, was born. And I had decided that I was done with corporate America. I was sick and tired of being used and abused. I was sick and tired of being overworked, underpaid, overlooked for promotion, promoted 18 people in 3 years. Everybody's getting promoted except the person developing the people, okay? You keep robbing me of my talent that I've developed, and I gotta start over. And yet, for some reason, I'm not good enough, and I'm watching people with less skill, less talent, less results, okay, ascend. That's weird, right? So I decided I was not going to keep killing myself for that. I lost my grandfather, lost a cousin within the same month. I was sick and tired. I was done trying to prove myself and chase this carrot, and all hell broke loose. Everybody had their idea of what Tamira should do. They called me educated fool. They called me flat out stupid, right? I had to cut off very close people to me in my own family for a very long time. A very long time. But every day that they were cut off, I was focused on me and becoming the best version of me and proving them wrong. Really not even proving them wrong, but proving me right. That what I knew to be true was in fact true for me, if nobody else. And on April 14th, 2014, my grandson was born, and the fire underneath me was so big because I did not want him going to daycare. I wanted to be home with him. I wanted to be the one taking care of him during the day, because my girls, especially my youngest, never went to daycare. My grandmother took care of them while I worked, while I traveled for work. She arranged for the bus to pick her baby up right in front of her house and drop her off. They came home. I could work and not feel there was still the tug of being a mom, working full time and having a career and having something for me. There was still that and a bunch of whole other intergenerational stuff, let me tell you. But I could work and chase my career goals, knowing that my babies were not getting off a bus, going into a daycare and being institutionalized, being exposed to all kinds of germs and other people's bad kids. They're getting off of the bus to a warm meal into loving arms of my grandparents, right? And they built a really great relationship, not only with my grandparents, they got to hang out with their great grandfather, because my grandparents were their great grandparents. They also got to hang out with their great grandfather for a few years before he passed away. So I felt it was my turn. I recognized the sacrifices that other people in my family made for me, not only to work, but even while I was in undergrad, because I turned 18 one Tuesday, had my oldest daughter the next, right? But I still graduated high school with scholarships on time, graduated, got my undergrad, got my master's degree, and my baby, my oldest, was there for all of that. She saw each time her mama went across stage. Now, she didn't remember the first time because she was just a couple months old, but she was there, right? So it was very important for me to do that. That lit my fire, right? If I hadn't listened to that call, if I hadn't listened to that purpose, if I didn't turn down the noise, if I had listened to everybody else, there's so much that I would not have accomplished between then and now, right? I would have never grown that account to 25,000. I would have never grown the Haute Chocolat brand, right? I never would have been in a position to qualify for different creator fund programs, different creator opportunities out there that have paid me very well. I wouldn't be in this beautiful apartment. I wouldn't have had the best summer that I had last year with my grandkids, right? I wouldn't have been able to be there for the birth of my grandson. The only reason I wasn't there for my granddaughter was because of 2020, let's put it that way. She's one of them babies. She was born in May of 2020. You do the math, right? So there's so much that would have transpired. But what it boiled down to is this. I remember I got promoted to a vice president at the bank, and the training overlapped with the first week of school. And in addition to having the support of family like my grandparents, one of the things I did every year for my kids was I would take off the first full week of school and, get them used to the bus schedule, even take them to school, pick them up, follow the bus. And they came home and they had, for that 1 week every year, it was like they had a stay-at-home mom. That was really the goal, was to give them that for that 1 week a year, right? Sometimes two, if I happen to be lucky enough to get the full week of Christmas off, right? And I remember having to leave my youngest daughter, who was probably in 3rd or 4th grade, on the corner where the bus, because they were in private school, where the bus from the high school would take the younger kids over to the K4 through 8 school, like a 1/4 mile away. Not the best intersection, but there were cameras and everything. And so I wasn't so much worried about her safety. It was just the principle of it all. And she was pissed. She was so angry. that not so much that I was leaving her there because I had to go and get on a train and go to Chicago for 3 days for this training, but that I wasn't able to give her that week. Do you know she is still pissed at me, and she'll be 26 in June? I still have to talk to her about that and remind her when she says things like she couldn't play basketball and it was because I chose my career over her. No, I was a single mom. She doesn't have kids, so she doesn't necessarily get it, right? No, it's because I was a single mom. If I didn't go out and get the health insurance for you, if I didn't work that 6-figure job, you know, so it kind of boiled down to that, right? You lived in a secured building. It might not have been a high rise in the sky, but there are a lot of things in life that you were never exposed to, that you never had to deal with because of the decision I made that day. And I just hate to see moms still being put in that position and having to make those decisions, right? I did a post on Instagram and I talked about, you know, a little bit of my story and how I turned 18 one Tuesday, had a baby the next. And I've always put so much pressure on myself to be the one to change the trajectory of my bloodline. It's not about being ashamed. It's not about thinking I'm better than anybody. These are the things that have been said to me, gaslighting me, right? So I have to address them. It's just about when you know better, you do better. I didn't go to school and get the 4-year degree. I didn't go to school and get the master's degree for the mindset for everything else to remain the same. That's kind of virtually impossible and definitely despite the point, right? But things don't always go as we plan. Things don't always go as we vision. So I've been so hard on myself. Did I do the right thing? Was I the best mom or the worst mom? And I had to relieve myself of that guilt. Okay, I had to relieve myself of that guilt. I can't change all these years of whatever in just one generation. Just change the little bit that I could, right? And so now my grandbaby, who will be 3 in May, she's never seen her mom work outside the home because of everything that went down in 2020. She was born during that, and her mom, out of necessity and because things are finally changing, was able to find jobs that she can work from home. And my grandbaby, the second one, never been to daycare, has not been to daycare. She's seen her mom work from home and been there while her mom works from home her entire life. She's the first person in our family to experience that, right? You know, there are people who experienced the stay-at-home mom generations ago, but she experiences her mom working from home. She experiences her nana building a business from home. That's all Tristan has ever known. He's never known me to work outside the home. My grandson, who will be 9 in 10 days, he's never known me to work outside the home. So a lot of times we're hard on ourselves, but just keep going. Do not quit. Do not give up because of what other people said. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of those same people who gave me a hard time, they'll never tell me, but I know that I was right. I know that they know that I was right, that I had the vision and I could see where things were going. I could see where things needed to change. And I was brave enough to step outside of conforming and the norm and do what I needed to do that I thought was best, not only for me, but for my, you know, second and third generation and even other generations down the line. So don't you dare stop. If you want that blue check, you get that blue check. Don't let these people keep you. And I don't care how close they are to you. Like I said, I cut people off for a really long time, right? And everybody's good now, so I'm not rehashing anything. I'm just sharing my story that it might inspire somebody else to understand that you should not quit. They're wrong and you're right. They're wrong and you're right, and you're closer than you think. You're making more of an impact than you think, right? You might look around right now and you might think, man, am I crazy? They're all right. But there's going to come a day, and that day might even be tomorrow or later today, where you look and you're like, oh man, I really am making a difference. I really am doing this, okay? So I don't even know if I really meant to talk about all that, but I did. And we're good. So you keep going, you keep doing you, and you stay true to your vision. If God keeps putting it in front of you, it is for a reason. You are being called to do it. It is your purpose. And other people are going to be blind to your vision. It's not theirs. It's yours. And you are the one who was chosen for that vision and to bring it to fruition. And every day you wake up, it is for you to walk in that purpose and live your destiny. My name is Tamara, and I'm out.